Yo, what's up, gang? How you guys doing? Let me know if you can hear me. I got my mic plugged in here. I want to make sure you can all hear me. What's happening? Who do we have on here? Craig, Udell, Hirsch. What else do we have on here? Ryan, Jeffrey, Daly. What's happening, buddy? What's happening, dude? Cole Vader, what's up? Can you folks hear me? I'm going to make sure you can hear me. Good to go? Perfect. All right. What's up, everybody? Hope you all had a wonderful Thanksgiving. Ate some good food, had a good time with your loved ones. And, we're back in it now. Now, I mean, it's getting real right now. Wow, Zenekas, dude, thank you so much for the Super Chat dono, man. I appreciate you. Happy Saturday to you. Happy holidays. Thank you again. I really, really appreciate that. Thank you so much. You are the best. Who else got? Gian, T-Man, Thomas, Mets fans in the house. Jared, what's happening, gang? What is up, the 161 Mafia? What is happening, man? Juice, what's good? What's good is we're waiting we're like foaming at the mouth, right? We're just waiting to see what Cashman's going to be doing because there's a lot of activity going on already. Scungili, ¿qué pasa, man? ¿Qué pasa? William, what's happening? Nothing's really happening. We're hearing things like, again, thank you so much for that $20 Super Chat donor. I really appreciate you. We're hearing so many things. Like, there's so much speculation going on. You keep hearing now that, Cedric Mullins is available, just like Brian Reynolds maybe, or some of these people. But to me, that's like taking a trip to PDC. You know what PDC is? I call it Pipe Dream City, right? The chances of us getting one of them is very, very low, but there's always a possibility. But I think Reynolds both of them are really unlikely, but Reynolds is probably easier to get on because Mullins is in the same division, and they're not going to just give somebody away in the division. So speculation is spec, rumors are rumors. Like, there's a rumor that Kevin Gausman now is expected to sign about a 5-year deal in the next 2 days or so. The Mets are the most aggressive suitors for him, so there's a chance that might happen. But there's other teams in on him as well. So, but the Mets, they struck hard yesterday. I give him credit. Steve Cohen made 3 big moves, but he also, overpaid for three older guys as well. So, just because the Yankees didn't get any of those guys doesn't mean they're out of it. Yeah, they could be dodging a bullet here too. So I'm really curious to see what the trade market's going to look like, whether he's going to be, being active in certain free agents or existing free agents. Like, there's so many different ways that the Yankees can go. And again, I still am of the opinion that they can basically they can fill out their or they can do this whole entire offseason without getting somebody that's attached to a qualifying offer. It's unlikely with a shortstop unless they're going to bring in Javi Baez, but there's speculation of him potentially going to Detroit with Carlos Correa not being here because Correa might be pricing himself out, but we don't know. So, where do I think Gausman's going to sign? At the end of the day, Mets fans, I think he's probably going to sign with the Mets. If he doesn't sign with the Mets, it might be the Astros or somebody like that. I also think Rizzo's probably going to wind up at the Red Sox. At the end of the day, too, I mean, think about it this way. If they wanted to, they could get Chris Bryant and and again, I think the Mets getting these 3 guys takes them out of the Chris Bryant sweepstakes, makes it one less team as a suitor for him. He's still going to have a lot of teams, but he'd be a good fit here for the Yankees because of his versatility. And you can even bring in Kyle Schwarber if Matt Olson doesn't work out. He'd be half the price of Rizzo and still another left-handed bat for first base. So he's not a defensive wizard like Rizzo is, but at the end of the day, if you surround him with guys that are defensively adept in their positions, then he's not going to have to die for the ball on a regular basis. And, especially with, somebody at second, somebody short is not going to have the Chuck Knobloch yips. He should be okay. So he's an option too. But Mullins, I think, is unrealistic. I think Mullins, if he moves, he'll probably go to the Marlins maybe because they can give him a boatload of pitching prospects in return, or he might go to a team like the Marlins seem to be the most likely, in my opinion. If it's the American League, Texas, but I would say Seattle, but Seattle has already a bunch of outfield prospects that are, knocking at the door of the major league's top-notch guy, so they don't necessarily need him. I mean, the Yankees would have to give it. I don't think they wouldn't even entertain a trade if it didn't include Jason Dominguez. Unfortunately, the Orioles. I don't think it's possible. He would have to be a requirement for them. I could be wrong, but I'd be pretty confident betting on that one. And the Blue Jays are also in the mix for Gausman. Yes, they are. Gausman. He could be. Yeah, 5. That's what I heard. I heard the Mariners are offering 5 years, a buck 15. I'm hearing the Mets offered 6 years, 150. Now again, that's speculation, so we don't know. We really don't know. But I mean, he'll probably get anywhere between probably 110 and 120. That'd be my guess. And again, you pick him off the board. You still have Carlos Rodon. You saw some other guys, and I think a bunch of them are still going to move. And again, teams can fill out a lot of their roster spots right now with good role players before a potential lockout. And think about it too. The more you do now, the less you're going to have to worry after a potential lockout happens. And you won't be scrambling as much. So this is something I encourage the Yankees to do too. At the very least, get some role player positions in here. Fill a couple of spots because they created more holes than they were trying to fill over the last 2 weeks. I mean, they're thin in the infield and the outfield now. They were super deep in both of them. Now they need people. So there's no reason they can't fill out a couple of spots right now. There's really none. And I think, and I know a bunch of us are frustrated, me included, and we're getting impatient with this. But this is Cashman's MO. Frustratingly patient, and then he does nothing, and then all of a sudden you get boom, 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 you get a flurry of moves from Brian Cashman. It could be tomorrow, it could be any day. I do think he needs to make a couple of moves before Wednesday, which is December 1st, and by 11:59 is the deadline. And I'm pretty confident there's going to be some kind of lockout. So, and that's what I mean. I would be filling some roster spots right now because a lot of teams are already doing that too. So, yeah, I think at the end of the day, I think Rizzo's going to go to Boston. He'll replace Schwarber. I mean, Matt, what's happening, man? Matt's singing in the house. Looking like the singing. I hope not, Matt. I hope Chambers. I hope Matt. I hope they don't look the same because that means they're not going to get much better if that's the case. I do think the Blue Jays will lose either one of Simeon or Ray. If they lose both, then I would expect them to bring in somebody like a Chris Bryant and still, and go after, I don't know, go after Max Scherzer or somebody. So I heard the Mets already spoke to Scherzer and his agent too, but I think that is less likely than Kevin Gausman coming here. And they're laser focused on pitching now because they can. I also think that means the end of Michael Conforto. I think he'll be going elsewhere too. So you never know. He might be an option for the Yankees to consider as well. So, but he also comes with a qualifying offer. So I don't know. Actually, no. Yeah, he did get a qualifying offer and turn it down. Christian, what's happening? CJ in the house. What's going on? Phillies is another option for Chris Bryant. I still think Correa is a better option for the Phillies than the Tigers. I think Dave Dombrowski, the GM over there, is not afraid to be aggressive, and I think pairing him with a Bryce Harper and some JT Realmuto would be a good fit. And then again, that would make Didi expendable. Obviously, he's got one more year left. There's a chance that the Yankees might try to trade for him as a stopgap option to Volpe and Peraza. But at the end, if I were them, I'd try to lock up Story first or Simeon second, and then you can move them when Volpe's ready or whatever it is. I don't see them getting Olsen without giving up Peraza or probably Gleyber Torres. I think you're gonna have to give up one of them, and and I could also see Oswaldo Cabrera being like the super utility, being the new Tyler Wade here, being the new super utility guy for the Yankees. Zeneca, again, thank you so much. Thank you. Breaking news. If we get 100 likes in this video, we're getting Seager, Matt Olson, Brian Reynolds. Let's get up to 100 likes. That would be phenomenal. Let's get those likes. Just pound the like button. Let's get that. I like that. I like that type of. That's good karma, baby. That's good karma. We get 200 likes, then we'll get Seager, Olson, Reynolds, and Max Scherzer. We'll get 200 likes, man. Yeah, let's get those likes back. I appreciate it. I hope I earned those likes, man. But yeah, Dono hype, man. Really, Dono hype and Dono love. I really appreciate you. Sergio, trade for Olsen, sign Scherzer and John Gray. Bring back Didi, sign Chris Taylor. I mean, another robust offseason. Chris Taylor, I think he might be looking more possible now for the Yankees. He might be. And I think he's probably going to wind up costing And like people were saying Marte was going to cost 25 million a year, and I thought it would cost more than 20. He wound up getting under 20. People are saying Chris Taylor's going to cost 22, 23. I think you could probably get him for 18 to 20 as well, Chris Taylor, for probably 3 years, 60 million or something like that. It might be a little bit more, but I mean, we have to, unfortunately, they're going to have to replace Tyler Wade and these guys with much more expensive guys now. So, um, you know, Udo, thanks so much. My pleasure, man. It's my pleasure. Thank you guys. Thank you for being on here, man. Um, Borenson, what's happened? Hoping for Story, Olsen, Taylor, and some pitching. That would be nice too. You know, that would be really nice. I mean, they need more guys than they needed 2 weeks ago. They do. So Chris Bryant, I like his versatility. So I would not be surprised or disappointed if they brought him in, Jeffrey. G-Man, do I think the Yankees will be held up by a trade? Has been handcuffed, not able to. Well, I think he has some offers, trade offers, and things like that. But I think the teams are trying to hold out for some more. So that negotiation kind of makes things a little dicey, or just makes things take a little bit longer. So at the end of the day, I think he'll make one or two trades, pretty solid ones. I'm hoping he does his best trades in the offseason, so I'm confident in that regard. Free agency, I'm not sure what he's going to do, but they have to do a couple things. That's obvious. Um, that's obvious. So Correa isn't signing until next spring. Yeah, I think Correa is going to be a holdout too. He's going to want to try to maximize the money. So, and Simeon, I could see him, being a late signing too, because he's represented, and Seager. They're two of them are represented by Scott Boras, and he tends to wait out the market. So he tries to get somebody to bite or overpay. He's notoriously great for that. So, there's a lockout on December 1st, and then there's Francisco. If there's a lockout, there is absolutely no Major League Baseball activity allowed until the lockout's over. The only thing that can happen is the Rule 5 draft, and that's because they're not 40-man roster players. So that's the only thing that can happen. Everything else, free agency trades, stops until the lockout ends. So Cashman, Fritz, I'm waiting for it. I mean, I think he has his foot in a lot of fires, but I think he needs to be a little bit more aggressive in the next couple of days, at the very least with role players, to fill in some of these spots to kind of get them on the board and not have to worry about afterward. Because once the lockout, no matter how long it is or how short it is, it's going to be a frenzy on the other end, and you don't know if teams can do more or less and whatnot. So it's good to kind of address these issues now, and then once you got them on there, you don't really have to worry. So until the lockout's over. But that's what I would do. I would be bringing in some guys right now. And if something breaks, obviously you're going to know about it. So, and again, I like to break news from all the teams. I mean, I want to make fans from all the teams happy. But obviously, if there's Yankee news, I'm going to be all over it. So I'm checking right now to see if anything's popped up. Nothing yet. Nothing yet. Believe me, I'm chomping at the bit waiting for freaking Yankees news, just like you guys. Montgomery, he's solid. I like him in the rotation. Yimi Garcia going. I mean, that's a decent move. I mean, it's not bad. It gives him another reliable arm, and just like Hector Neris going from the Phillies to the Astros, another reliable arm. Not the sexiest moves, but solid moves. I mean, these are the types of moves, like add a little guy here, add a little guy there. Moves that I think the Yankees will be smart to do right now, and they're not doing. And I think they should be making some more moves. So I'll make some moves, period, aside from the ones that they've already made. And not be afraid to dip into the farm and give some of these top guys away. So, because none of them are guarantees, they're just prospects. Which big free agents do I think will sign before the lockout? Before the lockout, Kevin Gausman, maybe Racel Iglesias, maybe Clayton Kershaw. I would say a couple of them. I would love a frenzy of activity, just like yesterday with the Mets. I would love to just be boom, 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 putting out breaking news videos, like 5 of them in a day. That would be awesome, to break a lot of news, because it's exciting, and I'm just hoping the Yankees are involved in some of this breaking news too. So, but I don't think a ton, Scungilli. Some, not a ton, before the lockout. But I hope I'm wrong. I really do. I hope I'm wrong. If we deplete our fund, yeah, I mean, a guy like Reynolds is worth, giving a lot of prospect capital for. A guy like Mullins is too. But, I think Reynolds is probably, I mean, he's going to be a tough one to get anyway, but he'll be easier to get than Mullins because he's not in the division. So, what's this? 5 years, $200 million for Seager. That's a boatload for Seager. $40 million a year, Patrick. Woof. That's a boatload, but it's a short-term deal. See, that's the type of deal. I'd rather do a short-term, high-salary deal instead of a 8 years, 280 million or something like that. 5 years, 200, I'd be more amenable to. And you can even give an opt-out after his third year when he's 30, so you can go back and capitalize. And if he opts out, then you deuces. Let someone else pay him a boatload of money for his down years, and you can get 3 of his prime years. So that's the type of stuff. 5 years, three, with an opt-out after 3, I'd be all over deals like that. All over them. Olsen, Zenekis, if any way we can get Olsen and Sean Murphy from the A's, that's when I would deplete a bunch of the farm. That right there, 2 huge building blocks for this team. So, and that's the deal I would make. I think it's going to be. I don't know if Sean Murphy's gettable or available. I mean, he'll probably be available in 2 years when he's getting closer to free agency, and then the A's will trade him then when he's getting more expensive. But if there's any way you can pry him away, I mean, that would be the guy. That would be the package to go. Olsen and Sean Murphy all day. Seager or Story, I would take Story over Seager, but I would not be offended if they got Seager at a not ridiculously stupid deal. So, Correa's reasoning that he's better than Lindor and therefore should make. I don't know. I mean, Lindor's a superstar too. And he was also a year younger when he signed. He was 26. Correa's 27, so that's going to count. But Correa's also involved in his cheating scandal, so that's going to tarnish him a little bit as well. The Mets will overpay. Well, I think the Mets are going to overpay whoever they get now. If it's Gausman, they're going to overpay. If it's somebody like Correa, they're going to overpay. I still see Correa either in Philadelphia or a team like Boston or maybe Detroit. So, yeah, I mean, Simeon might sign with New York with Adam Frazier going to Seattle. Maybe. I mean, the lockout ends. Mets fans, it ends when they've agreed on new terms. I mean, that could be a week. It could be 2 months. I think it would be in the best interest of the baseball to end it as quickly as possible. You definitely don't want it going into the season and interrupting games and all that stuff because that would be detrimental. And they've already lost almost a year of finances due to COVID. So, it would be smart for them to end this lockout sooner than later. That's for sure. And I'm with you too, Jose. Chris Bryant is a perfect fit here. I really think so. And no, Cashman's doing nothing right now, Jason. It's frustrating as hell, isn't it? I just think he's lurking and ready to strike somewhere. When he strikes, I don't know, but he tends to do this in flurries of moves. So you may get like a Mets day where he does 3 moves in a day, something like that. The international draft is in January, Jeffrey, and the Yankees are expected to sign Roderick Arias, who's the number 1 international free agent. He's another middle infield guy, and projects to they're comparing him to Wander Franco and guys like that. So that to me is a little premature, but the number 1 international free agent, if he comes to the Yankees, that'd be really, really good. So they have to be mindful of guys that they sign with qualifying offers because anytime you sign with a guy with a qualifying offer, you have to forfeit some of that international money, which could go towards Roderick Arias. So, I would definitely be mindful of that if I were them. But the expectation is that this is, it's pretty much inevitable that they're going to bring Roderick Arias. But until it happens, I'm not holding my breath. That's for sure. Because things have happened before when the Yankees missed out on somebody. So it just happens. There's no lockout, is there? Well, there's no lockout right now, Jared, but it sounds as if it's going to be one on stroke of midnight, December 2nd. That's what it sounds right now. I hope it doesn't happen. I hope they come to terms before that, but I don't know if they're going to do that. I really don't. I think it'll benefit some teams, Francisco, to wait for the big ticket guys like Correa and them, maybe. Which is why some teams, smaller market teams, feel like they need to be aggressive right now and get a bunch of players, which could hamstring their ability to get a big guy later on, which could play into the team's hands, like play into the Yankees' hands. But so that's a good way of looking at it too. But it's really hit or miss because we don't know exactly what they're agreeable on right now, what they're not agreeable on, and these things are always contentious. But at the end of the day, players' union and the players tend to win these things all the time. So it'll definitely be pro player, no doubt about it. Cashman's too focused on trying to get big return for Torres and Voigt. Yeah, and I think he needs to realize that he's not going to get a big return for either, Right now, their trade value is not very high, so they're going to have to be complementary pieces to a high prospect package or something like that. They really do. Even though Torres, they both have 3 years of control before free agency, but um, you're going to have to add to them either way, even if they're paired together in a trade. Fritz, I think, I mean, it's possible that he does nothing, but I think he'll do something before the draft, before the lockout. To what degree, I don't know. I hope it's a significant signing and maybe a significant trade. One of each would be fantastic because, again, he's got a lot of holes to fill now. So, um, Jose Lore, at the end of the day, and Anthony Rizzo ends up in Boston. I think he's, yeah, Craig. I mean, and Jose too. I mean, it's possible that Rizzo signs back here, but I think I think the Red Sox are gonna. One, he's a more logical fit over in Boston because they're closer to winning. But at the end of the day, I think they're going to. They have a much more significant need in first base. Even though the Yankees do, they still have guys to fill the position if they don't get a big dude. They would pay more for Rizzo than the Yankees would. And he's already turned down a $70 million deal. His skill set would work. I think he'd be better off with his lefty bat over in Fenway than he would at Yankee Stadium. And he'd be surrounded by a better lineup right now. The Yankees have a lot of holes that they need to fill. So if he wants to win, Boston, unfortunately, right now is a little bit closer than the Yankees are. This 5 years, $200 million, get it done. I think it can, Patrick, if they give him an opt out after like his second or third year, because then he can get back onto the market when he's 29 or 30. He's only 27, and he can capitalize again. That's what I would do. You give him a deal like that, 5-200, with an opt out after 3 years, and if he opts out, then you let him walk. So you just took 3 of his prime years, and hopefully he stays healthy for them. But it's also, if he doesn't, then he opts out, then you kind of dodge a bullet too without having to be hamstrung for 8-10 years as well. So I think it's a win-win either way with an opt out. With an opt out. Jose Lora. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be really interesting to see what Boston and the Yankees do for first base. I mean, there's a chance. I mean, if Olsen goes to Boston somehow in a trade or Tampa in a trade, then I could see the Yankees jumping all over the Rizzo bandwagon and bringing him back quickly. I could see that. But I do think Olsen is still the first choice for the Yankees. Jose Iglesias. I mean, it's possible trade away Glaber and Voit. And like Hill and Schmidt for Olsen. Bassett would love them both. It's possible. I mean, Iglesias is a good glove, not a big bat. And if you can get Olsen and a pitcher, then it could make more sense to go with a lower key shortstop. But I would still personally go for Story because I think he's the best value of all 4 of these guys, all 5 of them actually. And I think he'll cost the least, and he could probably be had on a short-term deal too. Maybe he sounded amenable to that last year, so I still think is a good chance. But it's if they can get Olsen and a pitch, that would be phenomenal. It really would be. It really would be. But yeah, the lockout ends when the union and MLB agree on a new collective bargaining agreement. That's right, Gerald. With all the new things they're negotiating, part of which is earlier free agency, National League DH, and some other things in terms of arbitration and other stuff, players' benefits and this, that. So these things are in constant negotiations, and it's pretty contentious between the two right now. So I don't know how close they are on anything, to be honest with you. I don't think any of us do. And they're definitely not going to let us know how close they are, but this is what happens all the time. It's always a potential lockout or a short lockout and whatnot. So the last time they had a major one was 1994 when the season was canceled after like 140 games or something like that. They missed the rest of the season. All the playoffs were canceled and everything. So because they went on strike. Cashman, the fans bring. Yeah. Greg Bird. I wish he panned out. I really wish he panned out. Aaron Judge to the Mets. Aaron Judge isn't a free agent, Ravi. Passan. He didn't say Passan. Jeff Passan didn't say that, Ravi. Come on, dude. Gausman is not signed yet. And the Jays and the Mets seem to be the 2 most aggressive suitors for Gausman. Aaron Judge would have to be traded to the Mets, Ravi, in order for that to be possible. And I don't know if the Mets have what it takes to get Aaron Judge, to be honest. That's a good one, Ravi. That's a good one. If the Yankees could get Simeon for 2 to 3 years, I'd be all over it. But he went to Scott Boras, and I don't think there's any way that Boras is going to let him not get 5 or 6 years. I think he's gonna get that from basically after what he put out this year. Um, Stats wise, I think he'll get at the very worst 5 years. So yeah, the Yankees aren't going to trade Judge to the Mets. They won't trade Judge to the Mets. And he could sign there as a free agent if he wants next year if he turns down an extension. But Gausman, they're one of the most aggressive suitors, Mets fans. So I could still see him going there. It's just not. It's just not there yet. It's not there yet. And what's being said is that the next 2 or 3 days he's likely to sign. So if he does sign with the Mets or the Blue Jays, it'll be in the next 2 or 3 days. They're probably trying to get a 6 year. The teams are probably trying to get a 5. So they're negotiating between the two or something like that. That's very likely what they're trying to do. But if he goes with the Mets, I mean, that's another. I mean, remember the Mets are already down 2 pitchers. They're down Noah Syndergaard and Marcus Stroman, who hasn't resigned yet. So they have to bring in at least 1 or 2 pitchers to replace them. So and hopefully get a healthy Jacob deGrom back for next year too. More proposals for increasing the amount of wild. Yep, I heard that increased amount of wild cards. That's right, Gerald. That's right. A floor payroll. I don't think the union will ever agree to that, though. It has to be. They suggested $100 million. And what I would propose is, this revenue sharing. There is no requirement right now for teams that receive revenue sharing from the big market teams to actually invest that money into players to making it better. I would make that a requirement. Why should teams like the Yankees and the Dodgers have to give them part of their profits in revenue sharing if they're not going to use them for players? They're going to pocket this stuff. It should be required to make your team better. If you're going to get this free money from the big market teams, that should be a given, a common sense. But I could see the union saying no to that too, just for the hell of it. And unions, they're one of the strongest unions in America for everything. Like Teamsters, like baseball players union is a very strong union. I said the same thing, Dustin. Make an extension offer for Judge now. If he says no, then you trade him. Cleveland's, yeah. I mean, I could see Cleveland going after both of those guys, honestly, and Soler. I could see that too. The sports expert. They would all be good fits. You add them to like a Jose Ramirez and some of these other guys that they have. Their rebuild, I think, is going to go quicker than some folks think it will be, and they still have a pretty good, couple of solid starting pitchers too. So I don't think they're going to be that bad. Hey, Lori, see, yeah, Ravi, chill. So we're gonna have to boot you, dude. If you keep. Yeah, let's remove these here. Let's remove Ravi's posts here. Can't have that stuff here. No trolling people here. This is a family thing right here, man. Don't mess with the family, man. Anthony, I think Cashman's probably going to make a couple of low-key moves before Wednesday. Steve-O, I got rid of those comments, so if he comes again, then he's out for good. So the Mets have been pretty aggressive on Gausman already, Billy, and they're deep in the contract talks, as is Toronto with Kevin Gausman. So I can see him going to one of those teams. And Ohtani and Trout to the New York Yankees for Judge, Cole, Glaber, Voit, Andujar, and Hicks. That would be crazy. Personally, I would not do that if I were the Yankees. 25-year-old Trout, different story, but not 31-year-old Trout. And I don't want to move Cole. I wouldn't move Cole for anybody. That would be a monster trade, though, Norley Great. Like, my God. Danny Jan, I heard at least like Voit and Oswald Peraza. But if the Yankees want another piece along with Olsen, then I think they're asking for Jason Dominguez and guys like that. So it depends on the piece. It depends on the piece. And okay, now we have to say bye-bye to Ravi. Because now he's trying to blame me for posting fake stuff. Yeah, that's not happening, Ravi. See you later. You're out of here. I would pass on Kluber, Matt Chambers, only because of the injury issue. I would pass. Freeman's a possibility. Let me tell you this, William. The Padres are aggressively trying to move Eric Hosmer and Will Myers. Will Myers, I think, will be easier to move. But if they somehow move Eric Hosmer in a trade somewhere, I could see the Padres signing Freddie Freeman, overpaying for him. So keep them in the back of your mind. They'd be my sleeper team for Freddie Freeman. But the Yankees could be aggressive. I just don't know if the Yankees would go to 150 to 200 million for him, William. I don't. Not when they can just re-sign Rizzo or bring in somebody else, or Kyle Schwarber or something like that. If they can't trade for Matt Olson, Freeman would be great. I just think he's going to be way too expensive. Sanchez to Colorado could be a thing. Arizona could be a thing. Like, to get some people. I mean, if the National League adopts the DH, and he can go over there and hit bombs. I mean, he really would. He can go over there and hit bombs and not have to worry about being behind the plate. So, and I think teams would sign up for DH Sanchez over catcher Sanchez. So, I also think the Jays will lose out on Kevin Gausman at the end of the day. Story could go to St. Louis. Yeah. Yeah, word life are the same. I mean, Judge is the most valuable trade chip, and I know the conventional wisdom is that he wants to stay. The Yankees want to keep him, so just to do the right thing, I would make him you make him an offer like 6 years, $210 million, which is a lot, $35 million per year. Very likely he'll say no, and then you can trade him after that. After he says no, but I would at the very least make an offer for an extension. So. Yeah, let's be cool, everybody. Be cool. But I appreciate you backing up, Jason. Thank you. Cashman has been stealth. Oh, yeah, they have to consider moving Judge if they're not going to give him an extension offer now, because they won't be able to move him after this because he won't have any trade value because he'll be a free agent. So, so they have to be really seriously considering this. But that's going to be an unpopular move unless they get better, unless they continue to win and stuff like that. So, and then they'll move on. But he's one of the most popular Yankees in quite some time. So since Jeter, and the Mets haven't made a move yet. Best catcher available in trades, Raymond, is probably Wilson Contreras. In free agency is not a very flattering class. But as far as we know, Wilson Contreras is available. Maybe Carson Kelly from Arizona, maybe MJ Melendez from Kansas City or something like that. There would be, but I know Wilson Contreras, so they've already said he's available, and just don't know the rest of them yet, Raymond. Ketel Marte is another intriguing one. He has some injury issues, but he's still pretty solid. He's a good player, Siciliano. Geez, yeah, I mean, if I were Toronto, Rahul, I'd be working my butt off to try to re-sign Ray. He's upped his price now, winning the Cy Young, but so teams need to understand that too. If the Yankees keep Torres at second, I think LeMahieu becomes their super utility guy. And again, he has the ability to go and play first if the Yankees don't do anything at first. So that could happen as well. I did hear the Yankees are open to trading Urshela Scancilli. I heard that too. Stallings, I mean, he's from Pittsburgh, and he's 32 years old, and he's got a couple years of team control. Tyler, he's another one. He's a better defensive backstop than Sanchez is, and his bat, obviously, Sanchez has an elite potential bat, but he's so inconsistent, right? And he's so frustrating because he has so many mental lapses and lack of focus. And I would rather have a Stallings or a Carson Kelly here who can handle a rotation in a bullpen better than he can. Just need some consistency out of the catcher position. Like, seriously. I mean, nuts. Gio and Voit to Oakland for Olsen. It probably is going to cost a little bit more than that, Emmanuel. You're probably going to have to add Luis Medina or something like that. Both Seagers would be nuts. Kyle and Corey, that would be nuts for short and third. And bringing in Seager. Holy cow. At that point, you might have to trade Gleyber Torres and then just move DJ to second. But that would be crazy, too. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what's going on. But this happens with Cashman, too. Like, I'm going to check again now. Cashman tends to be quiet, and then he just strikes. Quiet, and then he strikes. And, like, I think a bunch of us are waiting for them to just pounce and then make, like, 2 or 3 moves. And I think that's eventually what's going to happen. I hope it's before Wednesday, before any potential lockout. Taking a look again, see if there's anything here. Taking a hang out for 1 second. What's next for the Yankees after that? The Blue Jays are a finalist on Kevin Gausman. We know this. Them and the Mets. Yeah, right now just speculation and passionate opinions for the Yankees, and rightfully so. Rightfully so. We're also lucky. We've been, spoiled Yankee fans as well, so we've been spoiled enough to have a great team. But when they don't do things, we get frustrated. We get annoyed. So we just want our team to be good. We want our team to win all the time. So I can't blame the Yankee fans here. And but then they have to do some stuff sooner than later. Yeah, I mean, they have the money. They're just hoarding it. Finish. I mean, it's crazy. Crazy. And I'm guessing, too, he's probably deep into some trade negotiations, too, Casey, in a couple different deals. But, like, until it actually happens, like, we'll reserve – I'm going to reserve judgment. I mean, but I'm getting a little bit more impatient every day and more frustrated every day, that's for sure, just because the sense of urgency didn't seem to be there. And even with the role players, I mean, there's no reason they can't bring in a Chris Taylor right now or Eddie Rosario, somebody like that. There's no reason at all they can't do it. There really isn't. Yeah, Dustin, I'm with you there too. Like, Judge is going to cost a lot of money, right? And at the end, that's why I capped my offer at 6 years. I wouldn't go anywhere beyond 7 at any point for Judge. Somebody will probably do it, okay? And Ravi Warman said, "I don't want no." Let's see. I already removed Ravi here. If I can't block him, I'll make sure to block him at the end of this. So I'll take care of that. Thank you for the heads up there. I'll take care of that, Craig. Thank you. Sorry about that. I'll take care of Ravi. And let me actually, before we go ahead, let me take a photo so I have his name photoed here too. There we go. There we go. All right, I'll take care of Ravi Varman. I blocked his comments here, but if you guys are seeing it, then something I needs to be blocked fully. I'll take care of it. Hockey Kid, thank you for subbing, man. I appreciate you. Appreciate it, man. I hope my Jays get Gausman and Garcia. Yeah, I mean, Yimi Garcia, I think it's going to be a quiet but very productive move for the Blue Jays. And this is the thing, like, making moves like that, just adding to pieces that they need quietly, that's how you build a good team in the offseason. And they're already good, But this is what the Blue Jays do. And if they get Gausman, it's going to be better too. If they somehow get Gausman and re-sign Ray, then they're even in a better spot. So, Ketel Marte to the Yankees with Dominguez and Cabrera. I think you can get Ketel Marte without Dominguez. Nor the great. I really do. Don't mess with the one. That's right, man. That's right. Don't mess with us. Don't mess with the 161. Man. We're gonna take care of business one way or another. That's right, man. Oswald Peraza an opportunity. I think they will give him an opportunity. Shortstop in spring training. Andrelton Simmons be probably the most unpopular move they can make, or Freddie Galvis, and then have Oswald Peraza be the super utility or something like that. But I think people would probably be rioting in the streets if they brought in Simmons, honestly. And Judge is worth a ton, yes, Emmanuel. How long of a deal is my biggest sticking point? So Scherzer 3 years, 100. I would. 161 strong. That's right, Lori. You know that. That's right. We don't play, man. We don't play here. Who did I miss? Tyler Talbot. Thank you so much for the super chat, bro. I appreciate you. Taurus or Bellinger, who says no. I think the Dodgers would probably say no. I think the Dodgers are going to, if that was a possibility, they would ask for more than Torres. And it depends on how much more than Torres. But it's definitely, his lefty bat would play perfectly over here in Yankee Stadium. Like, really. Trading the face of the franchise feels bad. Yeah, I get it, Casey. I totally get it. But, they should have extended him like 5 years ago, and they didn't. And this is why the Rays are so smart for locking up Wander Franco. And, like, the Blue Jays are going to lock up Vlad. And these are, the Padres locked up Tatis. The Nationals are going to lock up Soto. You get the majority of those years, right? And then when the time comes for actual free agency, you still have a couple of those bought out. And then, and you're getting – ages 22 to 32 or whatever, 22 to 34 instead of 30 to 40. Like, that's the way to do it. You pay him a little bit more in the beginning so you could pay him a little bit less later on. And it all balances out. But that's the way to do it. They should have locked up Judge 5 years ago. I would have done that. So, that's, I think, the big mistake here. That's why I think they have to consider moving him and let somebody else overpay for his decline years. You might get, an 8-year deal. You might get 3 prime years and then 5 decline years, and that's going to hamstring the Yankees. And I know people say that, like, they want to move Stanton, and Stanton's got a big pricey contract, but and Miami's still paying some of it, and Judge's contract is going to be 10 or 15 million per year longer or higher for much longer years. So at the end of the day, if I'm keeping one of them, it's going to be Stanton at this point. And Stanton's also bats almost 300 in the postseason. Judge is at around 230. That's a difference too. And their stats are similar during the season. So Stanton is absolute money in the postseason. And as much as I hate saying it, he's going to cost a hell of a lot less than Judge will. So would I like it if they kept both? Sure. But at the end of the day, I think the Yankees need to be smart with this Judge thing. I really do. But I totally get what you mean, Casey. Trading the face of the franchise. That's a tough one. It really is a tough one. So the Jays should pursue Robbie Ray, John Gray. Trading for Pablo Lopez would be a nice move for the Blue Jays. Blue Jays have the pieces to get these guys, too. They do. They have the pieces to make a couple of big trades if they wanted to. So, well, exactly, Dustin. Judge is going to walk for nothing but a qualifying offer. And, he's going to be worth a hell of a lot more than one prospect for a qualifying offer. That's why now you either have to lock him up long-term or you have to trade him. Those are the only two options. And they have to happen this offseason. No Hosmer is posting his. Yeah, that's what I heard too. The Black Sheep. I heard he's like a little bit of a clubhouse malcontent. So I would not want him here. Let him go somewhere else and just be a DH and a National League team if they adopt it. So and let the Padres eat some of his contract. So they're gonna have to eat some of that contract if they want to move him for anything of value. So. Catching is very thin, particularly in the Yankee world, Gerald. They're catching prime. They just traded Donnie Sands to the Phillies. They left Josh Bro exposed to rifle Rule 5 draft, which I'm confident he'll get picked up by somebody. So they're very thin at the catching position, very thin. So they need to address that, Gerald, quite a bit. One more lefty for the pen. Yeah, I get it. I get it, CJ. Yeah, I like Andrew Chafin. He'd be good in St. Louis or New York. He's a reliable reliever. And Hosmer contract, yeah, it's an albatross now. It's an albatross. He's a shell of himself, and he's like a malcontent. So people, I totally understand why the Padres want to move on from him. I get it. Totally get it. Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean, Billy. Like, people wanted Stanton to be gone for a long time, but, like, when he's healthy. He's really, really, really good. He's hard to get out in the postseason, especially, and when he's hot, he's impossible to get out. So, he's a monster in the postseason. And he's an absolute monster. 290 plus in the postseason, and lots of. I mean, just when he's hot, he's hitting singles, doubles, walks, and they kind of give him the Barry Bonds treatment. People don't really want to pitch to him, and that's one of the things that make him special. And it just reminds me of when he was during his MVP season. He was impossible to get out. Do I know any of the Blue Jays' top prospect? Well, their top prospect is Gabriel Moreno. He's a catcher. Then they have like Jordan Groshans. They've got Otto Lopez, Gunnar Hagelin. Like they have a bunch of guys, and they're all different positions, pitching off, position players. So they have a pretty solid system. Raul, they do. Contreras for Gary and Wisniewski. I would probably do that, Emmanuel. I mean, he Contreras would be better here than Sanchez is. And Yan Gomes is the best free agent catcher right now, yes. And it doesn't say much about the catching market, unfortunately. But, again, he's an upgrade defensively over Sanchez. Then again, most people are, unfortunately. People are willing to deal Dominguez for Reynolds. I like Reynolds, but I think that's a mistake. Yeah, I mean, it'll probably cost him. But if you can get him without Dominguez, then, you do that. The only person I probably would trade Dominguez for would be Juan Soto. And I can't see that happening anyway. I don't see Soto going anywhere. On the off chance, Patrick told what I think the Yankees could entertain the Royals about a Whit Merrifield and Salvi Perez. I think, it's crazy, Patrick. I think they're going to wind up keeping Salvador Perez because him and Whit are both of the faces of the franchise. I don't think they would trade both of them at the same time. But a Whit Merrifield and MJ Melendez trade, if the Yankees could facilitate that, I would be all over that. He's their top catching prospect, the number 4 overall, and he's blocked by Perez for like the next 3 years. So it makes sense for the Yankees to go after him. Young, attractive prospect for the catcher side. That's what I would do, Patrick. But you never know. I mean, crazier things have happened, Merrifield and Perez. I mean, people in Kansas City would be pretty pissed off, I think, especially after the year Perez had. Oh, man. He should have gotten more MVP votes, in my opinion. The Mets payroll is higher than the Yankees right now. Yep. Yes, sir. Tyler, the Pirates. I mean, Pirates have other pieces, too, that the Yankees could go after. So, Gary and prospects for Wilson Contreras. Yep. Keep Urshela and trade Torres. Urshela he's an elite defender. He really is at third base. He's a good player. And he hustles too. So I mean, the only way I moved, Torres probably for a frontline pitcher, like a trade for one of those starters from Miami or something like that. Then to me, it justifies moving Torres more. Yeah, exactly, Tyler. No pass ball, exactly. Stanton Wordlifer is pretty much on par with Judge in terms of health. They generally get injured at almost the same rate, but their productivity is ridiculous when they're healthy. So it's unfortunate. I wish they could, we were lucky to have them healthy both this past year. I don't know if I see that happening every single year moving forward, but the Stanton's it has about 6 years, $132 million left from the Yankees. Judge for 6 years is going to cost probably $100 million more than that. So it's just something to keep in mind, perspective-wise. And again, Judge is extremely popular. I know we get the Judge's quarters and all that stuff, but if he moves and the Yankees still win, they get a boatload of prospects back for him, then all will be forgiven in Yankee world. As much as I love Don Mattingly, as soon as Tino Martinez came here and became Tino Martinez, I never forgot Don Mattingly, but we sure as hell love Tino Martinez. So, and I think the same thing would happen with Judge. Yeah, Nate Pearson's another top one. Yeah. Good pitching prospect. If they trade Gio, then who would be the third baseman? Then you can go after you can put DJ third, or you can even go after Chris Bryant. Just a thought. He's a free agent. He's not attached to a qualifying offer because he was traded in the middle of the season, so he's only going to cost cash, and he's a stud. So maybe a nice upgrade from Gio that's as well. Trav's cards. Yeah, at this point, Gerald, I do think MJ Melendez is a little bit better fit from Kansas City behind the plate than Salvador Perez. Perez had an out-of-worldly year for a catcher this year. I'd be surprised if he repeated that. Oh. Yeah, I mean, he is. Salvador Perez is. I mean, he is a god. He's beloved. He is. Aaron Boone, what's up? Stanton to the Giants and free up salary cap. Who would you get back for him, Jersey guy? Who would we get back for him? Was the question. Like Gio a lot, but I can see him trading for. Yeah, I mean, I could see him included in a Greg Olson trade too, Billy. I mean, at that point, maybe it'd be Greg Olson and Matt Chapman, which would make more sense to add a Gio and a bunch of other guys. You probably have to add Gio and Gleyber Torres for that one. But Matt Olson would be a nice get too here. What do I think the Cardinals get next? The Cardinals. CJ, that's a good one. I'm going to say one of the a starter or a reliever. They need to add another pitcher aside from Steven Matz. They need one more. A starter or a pitcher. Maybe or a reliever, excuse me. Probably a reliever to complement the starter they just got. If Stanton won the MVP next year, I'd be really, really happy. And especially if Cole wins the Cy Young, I'd be really happy. Yeah, we know you're not Aaron Boone. But your name is Aaron Boone. Your name is really Aaron Boone. That's awesome. If you love the Yankees, that's awesome and welcome. Welcome to the 161 family. Maybe we'll try to get the real Aaron Boone on here one of these days. I think I might reach out to somebody, see if I can get somebody from the Yankees, whether it's Michael Kay, somebody, Meredith Marakovitz, it's one of these people. I'd love to get a player or a coach. That would be phenomenal. I don't know if they would ever do it, but can't hurt to ask. It'd be kind of one of the greatest videos ever. Urshela's been fun. Yeah, he's been good here. Yeah, I mean, the only way I would move Urshela would be in a trade, would be in a big trade, Gerald. So I'm with you there. I mean, I don't hate him. He's solid. He is solid. And I would only move him if there was an upgrade from him at the position. So attach Volpe and stuff to unload Giancarlo. Contract is, yeah, I mean, but he's living up to a lot of it, Dustin. Not all the time, but right now the way he's producing, he's putting up almost 40 home runs, under 100 RBIs around there, money in the postseason. Like, he's doing a lot, and he's doing more than a lot of the players now that are starting for $30 million are doing. So it's just something to keep in mind too. It does look like an albatross of a contract, though, but I don't know if you have to attach Volpe, but they'd probably have to attach another prospect to move him, which is what I would do the same thing with Chapman. If you want to move Chapman, add a top prospect and make it easier to move him. Can I make moves until the lockout is on? Yes, you can make moves, Luke, until the 11:59 on Wednesday. December 1st is the last minute of the current CBA. Then midnight, December 2nd, is the start of the lockout if there's no CBA agreed upon. So you can make moves all the way up until 11:59. But keep in mind, that has to include physicals. So guys are going to be – physicals have to be included. So, expect a lot of deals to happen Monday and Tuesday, even tomorrow, Sunday, because they're going to need to have to fit in the physicals. Physicals are going to have to be passed in order for the deal to be ratified, and then the deal has to be ratified before the deadline. So I expect most moves to happen tomorrow and Monday, and even Tuesday. It's hard to get that and the physicals done in the same day. It really is hard, especially when team play might have to travel and all this stuff. So, Tyler, thank you again, brother. Conforto could play. I mean, Conforto might be an option, but he has a qualifying offer attached to him, so I don't know if they're going to give an offer or a contract to somebody with a qualifying offer. I'm guessing it's going to be one of those shortstops or Robbie Ray, not Conforto. You could trade Chapman and make Johnny Lasagna the closer. He could. I mean, I think he has what it takes. That's for sure. How cheap Conforto? I mean, he's not going to cost less than the $18.9 million or $18.4 million that the QO came was with. So, and I don't know if he's the right fit in center field. Yeah, the Yankees. I mean, the Mets are above, have a higher payroll than the Yankees currently with the 3 moves that they made. Yep. It's tough to manage a daily dose, but that's okay. Can't get to everybody. And again, I'm sorry I can't get to everybody, but I do my best. I do my best. But it's fun to have everybody on here. Everybody's perspectives are welcome. So and I try to look at everything, actually. Sometimes it goes so fast it's hard to do. Matt Olson will definitely cost 2 100s. He'll definitely cost 2 100s. Jason Long, who's being not nice to you? Who's being not nice to you, Jason Long? Tom, see what's happening. Cashman is a GM. The guy makes things happen. Well, Epler's been money on so far, Tom C. So I got to give him that. That's for sure. Yeah, Ravi out. Yep. I'm trying to catch up here. Ravi's out now, and we can't have that type of behavior on here. It's not. I don't want him disrupting my people here, man. So no, got to get that out. Those types of behaviors got to be out. Yeah, Robbie Ray, I think he's going to get up anywhere between Michael 125 and 150 million. That's my guess. Hayden Wisniewski and Luis Medina. I think these guys will get shots, Gerald, that's in spring training. That's for sure. I think they'll get shots, and I think a lot of these guys could get a chance at spring training. At the very least, if they play well, they can bump up a little bit in the minors. So I think Hader can be had, but I don't think he will be done. I think they're going to try to add the Milwaukee Brewers instead of subtract because they made it to the postseason. And I think Seattle's going to be that aggressive too because they missed it by one game. So I think they're going to be aggressive too. And if we can do trades without moving Medina or Luis Hill, then I'd be all for that. Also wants to reduce the number of years. Yes, they do. They want you to get to free agency in shorter than 6 years. So which again gets players paid sooner. So, and let's try to get them likes. If you haven't hit the like button, please do so. I want to get it over 100. I appreciate it. Over 100, between 100 and 150 is really helpful to the channel. So, but I thank yous. So if you haven't hit the like button, please do so, especially if you're having a good time. But thank you guys. Eric Chavez. Yeah, I think they'll finalize the deal with Eric Chavez to be a coach. Michael, I think he'll be good too. Matsui for hitting coach for the Yankees. I don't know where they're going to go, Patrick, to be honest, for hitting coach. We need somebody who has a Matt Blake type of feel here, I think. Matsui, the only problem is he's going to need a translator. I think it'll be difficult to get through to some of the hitters. I'd like somebody like Edgar Martinez or somebody like that. I think would be really good. Just don't know who's available. Thank you guys for the likes. I appreciate it. Catel, Judge, Seager, Stanton, Olsen. That would be a nasty order. Absolute nasty. Liberators in the trade for Paul DeJong and Andrew. Maybe. What if Robbie Ray was in here? What Robbie Ray was in? I wish Robbie Ray was in here. And we could be like, dude, come and sign with us, man. Come and sign with us. I haven't heard anything on the coaching staff. Nothing. I don't think anybody has, which is crazy. But all I hear is that Eric Chavez is probably going to at some point finalize a deal and join Luis Rojas. But they're still going to need 2 more coaches after that. So trading for Catel and Olsen, that would kind of gut the farm. It really would. Merrifield and let Rizzo walk. DJ can play first. Merrifield would be nice because he steals bases too, and we need some base stealers. We just give up all of our speed, and we need some fast guys back. So they could sign Correa and extend Judge. They could. Definitely after lockout deals, Dustin. Clayton to the Yankees, possible, but I think it'd be more likely Clayton to the Texas Rangers. It's a native Texan. The Dodgers don't lock him up. I could see him going to the Rangers. Robbie Ray, 5 years, $125 to $150 is too much. I mean, that's probably what it's going to cost, unfortunately. Especially now with that Cy Young in his cabinet there at home. Mariners have had a 6-year offer for Gaussman. I heard the Mariners have a 5. If it's a 6 now, Michael, that's pretty aggressive. I'm hearing Gaussman's going to sign in the next 2 days, and probably a 5 or 6 year deal. So I think you're probably pretty accurate on that one. Giants will let Gausman walk. And they've already brought back, I think, Alex Cobb, right? I don't know, or is it Alex Wood? One of them. I think they'll make a move for another starter. I mean, but I don't know if they want to pay that much for Kevin Gausman. I just don't know. Ray's 29, Robbie Ray. Glaber too good to trade away. I mean, I would only trade him for a legitimate piece in return, Matt. So I'm kind of with you on that one. He's only 24 and he's got 3 controllable years left, so he's got value. Yeah, I agree with you, Billy, too. Tino Martinez was a great player, but he was a monster as a coach with Tampa. He was a nightmare then. He fired him after his first year. He was a great player with the Yankees, Tino Martinez. Maybe Judge doesn't want to extend his saying, yeah, I mean, it's possible. He's like, I think, I'm still of the opinion that he's going to want to maximize his potential payout. So he's going to go where the money is. If the Yankees, let's just say the Yankees give him 210, right? But somebody comes in with 280. He's going to go with the team that gives him 280. He will. And can you blame him? I mean, this is his chance to cash in. So, and people like to cash in. So he's going to get paid one way or another. That's for sure. I don't think it would be a good idea to pay for overpaying for declining years, because they will be overpaying Stanton for declining years at some point. I'd be surprised if he stays this productive. Would I love it if he did? Hell yes. Would I love it if Judge stayed and did the same thing? Hell yes. But I don't know. Judge can only play one position. And again, we have multiple holes. So if they need to spread the money around, then they need to spread the money around. So one prediction for the Yankees before the lockout. Scungilli, one prediction. I think they'll I think they're going to sign a pitcher before the lockout. Starting pitcher. Kind of what's my gut's telling me. Who, I'm not sure. But I think they'll sign a starting pitcher. Glaber of 2019 is a little different. Yeah, I mean, I don't see him getting up to 38 home runs anymore, but I could see him 20-25 on an annual basis, which would be good for a second baseman. And again, yeah, you could use Peraza at second if they don't want to invest. And if they don't invest in shortstop, then they need to invest in a lot of other areas. So Scherzer could accept 2, but it would probably have to be $80 million, I'm thinking. Probably 40 a year. The best farm system for a Judge trade, Seattle, the Dodgers, and the Padres, I would say. I would say that. Even Miami, but I don't know if he would be a fit for Miami. He's a West Coast guy. I see him going to the West Coast if they move him. Yankees closer. It's going to be Chapman unless he's moved. And as far as I know. Chapman's a beast when he's healthy and he's on. But the problem is he's been so kind of hit or miss now recently, the last 2 years, that it's, you kind of get scared now when he's coming into the game. So when he's dominant, he's unstoppable. 2019 was definitely a liable year, yeah. Judge might. I don't see Judge going on the Mets. I could see someone else, other than Judge going to the Mets, but I definitely don't see him going to the Mets. Yeah, they're gonna have. They still have pitching to address. Their payroll is gonna be super high, Gerald. Super high. Gio, Glaber, Voigt, Schmidt, Gill, Cabrera, Hicks for Olsen and Minea. Sign Bryant. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 guys for Olsen and Minea. That'd be a monster trade, big boy. Monster guy. I mean, if you can get Olsen and Minea, Schmidt, Gill, Cabrera, my God. I'd probably go for Olsen and Montez with a package like that if you could. And you sign Bryant, play multiple positions, Story for short, Robbie Ray. You add Ray and a Minea or a Montez, and then you get Olsen and Bryant and Story. That's a hell of a return for the Yankees. Hell of an offseason for the Yankees, that's for sure. Big boy. Intriguing. I like it. Dude. I'd rather have K-Tail over Glaber. Yeah, I mean, K-Tail's versatile. I think he's a more consistent hitter as well as Glaber. So I mean, you probably could move Glaber in a trade out there. There's some other pieces in Arizona I would be, interested in too, Butters. Keep Gardner and Gio there. Yeah, I think DJ will eventually be a super utility. He initially signed here to be the super utility, and then he took over when I think when Glaber got hurt. He took over second, and kind of never turned around. He never turned back. So, but he does play multiple positions, so he's versatile. Yeah, Michael, Scherzer and his agent have already discussed the contract with the Mets. They did that either yesterday or today. So they've definitely been in talks with a couple teams. Scherzer. I mean, I hope Jacob deGrom stays healthy. I just don't know if he's going to be what he was. So I'd much rather have him with Cole. But, he might be a better fit at this point in the National League, too. If the NL ends up with a DH, the Yankees get 15 new suitors for Andujar Voigt. Yeah. 15 new suitors for Judge, 15 new suitors for Stanton, 15 new for Sanchez. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Trade for Pop. I would move it. I would do a trade for Papa Lopez, Ethan. We need two. I'm still of the opinion that we need two controllable starters this offseason, no matter what. They need two starters. Take over the front office along with George Costanza. Lorenzo, that would be kind of awesome, actually, me and George. We have a lot of fun, but we get a lot done. Lopez will cost a ton, yes, Michael. He'll definitely cost a ton. And Jeter will play hardball with them all along the way. But just because I was a Yankee doesn't mean you're going to get a discount here. So he's that way. He's that competitive. So can't blame him. Excuse me. Post-COVID, I have not seen it, Gerald. No. I haven't seen South Park episode in a while. Is it good? Uncle Stephen Cohen has tons of money. Yeah, Cohen's got boatloads. Close with her design, close on your right, persuade him to go center of the Mets. Judge deal could be a rerun of the Cano saga. It could be. I mean, if again, the Yankees should extend him, and if he says no, you trade him this offseason. No matter where, you just get the best package from him, and you keep moving. If Glaber's traded, it has to be for Olsen and Peraza to the second base. Yeah, I'm of the yeah. It's got to be for Olsen or a top pitcher, Matt. I'm of that opinion. So, Judge did say he wants to be a Yankee for life, yes, but other teams say it. Players, excuse me, players say that quite a bit. So, that's a way to drive up the price too, and make sure that their hometown team is willing to pay or overpay for them. And they need to do something now with Judge. And just be smart, guys. Be smart. Kemp as well. And a lot of people like Tony Kemp a lot. I mean, if you had him as a throw-in there, okay. I don't see Sonny Gray getting a second opportunity here. I don't think so. And we can get something for Chad Green, yes. Don't be surprised if they tack him or add him to one of these trades, multiplayer trades. I don't know who considers Gio defensive liability. I sure don't, Frank. Glaber, yes, but not Gio. He's a whiz with the glove. Maybe a little bit. Maybe he's much better at third base than he is at shortstop with the glove. So I would keep him at third. Peraza has an upside into him. He probably does. Peraza is very versatile too, and he's a consistent batter, and he's got speed. So he does some things that Torres does not. He's got an elite glove, which Torres does not have. Secondhand, I mean, it's realistic. I mean, they're going to have to give up a lot to trade for these guys, Olsen and Reynolds. It would be gutting a lot of their farm, that's for sure. But if they want to win in the next couple of years, then those are two representative moves that that would show that they're serious about winning a World Series in the next couple of years, or a couple of them if possible. Yeah, exactly. Sabathia said he wanted to be exactly. People say that, and then they get moved. So. No surprise that Judge said it. He's doing what every homegrown player would do. So it's no different. Michael King. Yeah, I'm glad he's back. I'm glad Ridings was protected too. So they have quite a bit of bullpen strength. Hit the like button. I appreciate that, William. Yeah, I'm still trying to get the likes up. So next goal is $150. If we can get to 150 likes, we'll see. Brad Hand, Andrew Chafin would be a good fit too for the bullpen. Who could the Yankees sign to add speed and athleticism? Eddie Rosario. He'd be a good one. Chris Taylor, another good one. So, couple guys, but they definitely need it. Kimbrough for player to be named later. I mean, it's possible. I mean, I think the White Sox picked up his option to trade him. They're gonna have to eat some of that money. The White Sox to move him. If they're willing to eat some of the money, then I think the Yankees would be well off to, at the very least, investigate the possibility of acquiring him. There's no doubt about that. I think, again, Trevor Story would be he's my pick for shortstop. He's definitely my pick. So, hand choke. A lot of the Mets choked this year, unfortunately. It's just a shame, but they're definitely making moves. They're definitely, they brought in 3 contact guys to try to address some of those issues. So at least they're serious about winning. So that's for sure. We'll see how well it pays off. Jose Ramirez would be another one. He would cost a haul, but I would love to get Jose Ramirez. Chris Taylor is underrated. Yeah, I agree with that. Jonathan Villar could be another good multi-position guy for the infield too. The Yankees, Tyler. That's a guy. I'm glad you brought him up. It's a good one. Jonathan Villar. He's solid. He's one of these players. That's just solid across the board. Rosario, I would love. Chris Bryant is possible. It's going to cost a bit, but he'd be worth it. Rosario's gotten better in the outfield, actually. He's run some pretty good routes, and he's a great base runner, too. Tommy Edman. It's a good question, but I don't know who they would give up. Good question. Mets fans, if you're heading out over now, thanks for coming. Bring back Didi. I keep hearing, the Didi, bring back Didi chance. He's got 1 more year left on a deal, and it's possible, but I think they have their sights set on one of these top shortstops. But of course, you're never going to know because Cashman never says anything. So until it's actually done. Tanaka, maybe. I don't know if a reunion with Tanaka is good at this point. He's a little older. He can't get through the 5th inning, and that's my concern. They need guys that are going to give him some length. Same to you, Mets fans. Have a great night. Hand did struggle with the Mets. Andy Hawkins. Oh my God! Wow, I remember. He threw a no-hitter. The Yankees against, I think, Oakland. You just took us back, man. Pot Phillies, yeah. Dave Dombrowski's their GM, and I think he's going to spend. So he's a ballsy, bold GM. He's not afraid to make moves. So I expect the Phillies to bring in some guys. Hand was terrible. And I think Matt Blake does a good job with a lot of the pitchers here too, so that helps. No, Didi's not. Didi's with the Phillies for 1 more year. It'd have to be trade. He'd have to be acquired in a trade. Cards, maybe Hand. Yeah, again, Chafin would be another one to pick. Hard luck, Andy Hawkins. Yeah, it reminds me of, what's that guy with the Mets? Anthony Young. He was a pretty solid pitcher, but he lost like 35 games in a row, some ridiculous amount of games, and he actually wasn't that bad. The Mets just sucked when he was doing it. I remember that very vividly. He was a good dude. No, it's a shame, Anthony Young. Let's see if anything is broken, so that I can so we can share it here. Yankees. Nah, people are just saying the Yankees make a lot of sense for Corey Seager and this and that. I mean, he does make sense, but so does Story, so does Simeon. So a lot of these guys, in their own way, make sense. Nothing yet. Nothing broke. 0-18 Anthony Young, man. Oh my God, I remember. Red Sox have Jeter Downs and Marcelo Mayer. Yeah, and they already have Xander Bogaerts there too. Hicks for Didi. That's possible. Big go in if they want to move on from Hicks. If the Phillies eat that contract, sure. But I still think that they're going to be shooting up, for like a Story or Simeon at the very least, but keeping their eyes on Correa and Seager as well. Correa, yeah, I mean, Correa's going to go. He's going to get paid one way or another. I don't know who it is, but he's going to get paid one way or another. What's the worst on the word on Davy Garcia? I mean, he's made some adjustments this year. He struggled this year quite a bit, but they expect him to be ready for spring training to compete for a spot in the rotation. That's what I know right now on Davy, but he's regressed quite a bit because they've tinkered with his windup and his mechanics a couple times over the last few years. And it's kind of thrown him off. He's also struggled quite a bit in the minors as well. So he's had some problems getting guys out and all different types of things. So he's he went from there with number one prospect to that, I think 11 or 12th. So he's regressed quite a bit, Davey. Maybe he'll turn it around. I hope so. When Hawkins was in San Diego, it was 14-9, came the Yanks and Andre Robertson. Andy was numbling on the mound. I'm fear. I don't doubt it, Udall. I don't doubt it. Blue chipper for Judge. I mean, Judge is going to require several blue chippers. He'll cost a bigger price than Matt Olson would. So you can move Judge and use some of those people to flip for Matt Olson if you want to. Seager's, I mean, he's ideal. He's got that really, really nice left-handed swing, but he's not enough, Seager. Neither is Correa. No matter who they get at shortstop, it's not going to be enough this offseason. They still have more moves they need to do. Yeah, Hershey threw a no-hitter, I think, and lost. I think they lost 1-0 because of an error in the outfield. It was in Oakland days, if I remember correctly. That was terrible. It was to an error. I think it was, if I remember correctly. Hicks has a team friendly. Yes, he does, for 4 more years. Average annual value of $10 million per year. So if he's healthy and productive, then it'd be easier for them to move him. He would have good value. So that's also the main reason I think they didn't move on. They didn't sign Marte because they already have Hicks for $10 million a year. And if they want to get rid of that, I don't think they're going to pay double the amount for a Starling Marte. So. Stroman, I don't know, man. Gerald, that's like, I mean, God, he could resign with them. This could be all show business too with him. So, but I could see him going to Houston. I could see him going to other teams as well. Miami, even a team like Atlanta, Washington. So, quite a few teams. Milwaukee. So, quite a few teams for Stroman. He'll have no shortage of suitors. He was pretty solid. So, yeah, G-Man, I think the Yankees. I think Cashman will do something. I just don't know what. Believe me, and I'm looking at for updates pretty much every 5 minutes on my phone. So, the second something pops up, you will know about it. So, if anybody on here hasn't subscribed, make sure you do so and hit the bell icon if you haven't, so that you know exactly when breaking news comes out from this channel. So, if you haven't done so yet. I want to keep you all in the loop, but there's nothing right now on Major Leagues right now, Gerald. I mean, the latest I heard was Gaussman being, close to signing, but you never know. Something can pop up. Last night, Starling Marte to the Mets popped up at midnight, or just before midnight. So it happens. So if something does pop up, I'm putting it out. I'm definitely putting it out. Joely, yeah. Keeping Sevy, he's got 1 more year, Michael. So, we'll see how he does. Let's see how he does. E. Burnson, thank you so much. Yeah, 150 likes would be awesome. If you haven't hit the like button yet, please do so. Cashman could be playing Boras. He could be. They're both Boras clients. And, Cashman knows how to work these things, too. Yeah, Reynolds and Cedric Mullins. Either one of them would be a remarkable fit here. Nicholas for the Yankees, remarkable fit. They're both going to be ridiculously expensive, though, but rightfully so. It's not so bad. Yeah, Torment, I'm with you there. I miss my Yankees too. I really do. Story, Chris Taylor, and Robbie Ray to the Yankees. That would be nice, Robert. I'll take that. Be nice. Trading Judge, then I'm looking for the best prospect possible. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, Dustin. Absolutely. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. What we have here. Nothing that broke yet. Esteban Florial, I mean, he'll be competing in spring training too, for a spot. I mean, he's had some injury issues, but he's been blocked by so many guys. But now that they've gotten rid of all their outfield depth, he's right at the top. You're right at the top, him and Aaron Hicks. But he's fast. He's got a good arm, and he's a good contact guy too. So he has value. He has value. Yimi Garcia, I think, is a relief pitcher. Just signed with the Blue Jays. Solid arm. And, he'll make that bullpen better. Mullins more likely. Yeah, I mean, Michael, if he leaves Pittsburgh, it'll be because of a trade. So they might move him. But we'll see. Hunch Cashman will sign Robbie Ray for Lance with the. Yeah, I could see that too, G-Man. I could see him signing Ray. Just getting him in here, be a good compliment to Garrett Cole. So I could see it. Diego Cartaya from the Dodgers. Well, he's their number one prospect, so the Yankees are going to have to blow them away with an offer. And that would be part of a blockbuster return for me if you traded Judge there. Easy to manage a franchise? No, it's definitely not easy. Big money, a lot of different moving pieces, lots of egos. I mean, no way. Yeah, it's not easy at all. Jay Buhner, wow. Russell Davis both had no chance. Yeah, I mean, I traded Jay Buhner for Ken Phelps, and Jay Buhner became a Yankees killer. Killer! Rodon, Simeon Reynolds, and a trade for Contreras. I'll take that. Take it. Happy with Simeon, no more than 5 years. So would I. If you can get him for 5, that'd be good. Who's our best catching prospect? Is it Gomes? Since Wells isn't really a good catcher. You're probably at this point, Yan Gomes. Yeah, you're probably right. Chiboy's, Ray for 4. I think Ray's going to get 5 years, Tom. I really do. Probably 5 years, $130 or something like that. Something like that. Well, we'll see. He's going to get paid one way or another. I mean, starting pitchers are getting paid, but he's got a sign on. He's going to get paid. There's no doubt about it. Antonio Gomez. Yeah, he does. He's just so far away, Hirsch. He's so far away. But I do. His intangibles are pretty good. Ken Phelps, man. Yeah, remember he had these gigantic, hairy blonde forearms with him, with his glasses. Ken Phelps. Oh my God. Robert, yeah, I'll be going to a couple this year. Yeah, no doubt about it. No doubt about it. Outfield prospect. Yeah, I think we need an outfield prospect and an outfield player. We need both because the Yankees have gotten rid of all their depth in the outfield. Most of it, I should say. Starting pitcher. Yeah, these guys are getting paid, Gerald. They ain't getting buku dollars. That's why Ray's going to get money. He's going to get crazy. So is Rodon. Some of these other dudes. So 7 years and $300 million, and 10 years, $300 million. That would be a lot of money, Dustin. But yeah, 7 years would be a better deal than 10. There's no doubt about it. Mm-hmm. You're not old, though. You. 8 years, 300. I could see that. Or the great. I could see it, but I can't see it from the Yankees. I could see another team giving them that type of money. Yeah, George was obsessed with winning. He really was. He did whatever it took to win. Got himself in trouble. Didn't matter. He did whatever it took to win. And you always knew he wore his heart in the sleeves when it came to the Yankees. Don't want to pay Judge for. Yeah, exactly, Dustin. I certainly don't either. Absolutely, I know what you mean. 95 Mariners. Oh God, yeah, I remember that. Steve O. 95 Mariners. Yeah. Letting Stanton play left for 3 or 4 days a week. He seems to be more of a yeah. I mean, outfield a couple days a week. DJ. I mean, DH a couple days, and then an off day every week too. Possibility someone else. Stanton. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, like maybe. I mean, yeah. I'm not exactly sure how we would fit here. But they will do something. I just what I don't know. I'm with you there, Michael, 100%. Kansas City does have things that the Yankees could need. Yes, yes, 100%. You try to get a Whit Merrifield just for taking on his contract and his versatility, and then you try to get somebody like MJ Melendez paired with him, and that would be a good haul for the Yankees. It really would. Edgar Martinez, I mentioned him. Yeah, he's another one. He's Yankee killer. Looking. Yeah. Correa, I'm like right in the middle with Correa 50-50. Like, if he comes here, I hope he's really good. And I hope he sticks at the Houston. I hope he sticks at the Boston. I just don't see him coming here. I think he's using the Yankees. I really do. Yeah, yeah, I mean that's what Stanton does, Dustin. He's learned how to silence people and just kind of get in there and produce. And he's just I'm gonna play good out of spite. So I just like Stanton. He answers the hard questions. He faces the press, and he's a great dude. And he's a really good player. Rodon, I think, would cost anywhere between 80 and 100 million, Thomas. And I think being surrounded by Matt Blake and some of these other guys, I think Blake would help him. If you can get him on a shorter term deal, then you get him. But I don't know if it'll happen. Yeah, I mean, again, I'm with you there too, Edward Burnson. He Story's my pick for shortstop. Trade for Olsen, sign Ray. That would be two great moves. Rodon did pitch hurt, so hopefully he's getting healthy now. 10-year deal for Correa makes him at 37, 20. Yeah, it puts him at 37, Dustin. I'm not sure if the Astros hitting coach has New York ties. I'm not sure, but it's Snicker, right? Snicker, I think, if I remember correctly. The Braves' son. Braves manager's son. Roberto Perez for catcher, so Matt Blake. Maybe, yeah. Possible, I don't know. Definitely possible. Trevor Burr stars in 50 Shades. Yeah, definitely Michael. He's nuts. Olsen, Ray, then go with Hughes. I would love that too, Dom. I would love it too. That'd be a good one. I was considering Steven Matz, Lorenzo. Yeah, I think another reliable arm in the rotation. Who can throw some innings. I think the Cardinals did a good job in bringing him in. And he's probably going to be a steal. With Correa, it's all right. Yeah, Story 3 years, 90 option for year 4. A little high, but I mean you might be able to get him on a 3-year deal if you offer that much. Yeah, I think the Blue Jays and the Mets, Aiden, are the two finalists for Kevin Gausman, as far as we know right now. Somebody else can sneak in and do what the Cardinals did with Steven Matz and just come out of nowhere and take him. But starting pitchers are getting paid this offseason. No doubt about it. Yeah, I mean, these are the types of these. I mean, Cashman could have. If I was Cashman, I'd be filling in a lot of role position players right now and just getting some guys here and making sure they're here and before a lockout and whatnot. So once they're here and they're signed, they're good to go, lockout or not. So Cole, Scherzer, Sevy, Monty. I mean, Scherzer would be insane, Butters. Would be insane, dude. Cole Scherzer, oh my god, be nuts. You know, Chafin, I would like. I'd really like Andrew Chafin here. He was productive, solid. I would really like him here. I think he'd be the second guy on the team with that mustache. Him and Nestor Cortez can just rock the mustaches together. They can go out and with their Tom Selleck Magnum P&I T-shirts and just rock the mustache. But yeah, I'm with you there too, Steve. I'm not a fan of the cheaters either. Josh Bell's an option too. He's versatile as a switch hitter, Armand. I think they're shooting for higher. I think they're shooting for Olsen. So it sounds as if they're shooting for Olsen. So we just don't know how deep into the talks they are. Guerrero's definitely going to get extended. He's definitely going to get extended. And so is probably Boba Shit at some point. And Juan Soto. Yeah, exactly. I don't want the Red Sox or the Blue Jays or the Rays to get better. I just want the Yankees to kind of get ahead and close the gap now because they're ahead of him. They're ahead of the Yankees. 10-inning man on second. This is my take, Torment. I said this in other videos. I think that's a little ridiculous. I think the 10th and 11th, put a guy on first. And then anything past the 11th, you put him on second then. It's just it's very a big disadvantage to pitchers. So, and I think that'd be a better gradual phasing in of runners, free runners. Yeah, Correa did have some back injury, so $350 million. That's crazy, but could happen. It could happen. So, I think Luis Robert can make the jump. Maybe Eric. I mean, I don't know. I think he'll need another year or two of kind of development. But it's possible. He's talented, man. He really is. And I do think Correa's using the Yankees to draw. I think the same thing, Jason. Same thing, brother. Same thing. Using the Yankees. Trade Peraza was saying, yeah, I mean, that's going to sting trading Peraza if it happens, but they need to make up for it in different ways, whether it be pitching or that same position or something. So need to justify moving a piece like that. Correa. I'm going to buy some. I think we need Carl. I mean, yes. Center fielder. I mean, right now Hicks is here, but I don't know, and I trust him to stay healthy, so not exactly sure. But I would get somebody. I definitely would bring in somebody. Dodgers get Correa. If the Dodgers got Correa, that would be completely insane. And at that point, they probably would trade Turner to second, have Correa at short, and then just be superstars everywhere. And then when Justin Turner retires finally, they move Correa to third. Free agent market, who's the best center fielder? It's probably going to be Conforto. I think he's probably the highest rated. And that doesn't say much. That doesn't say much. Cashing first. Mariners accept Judge, Peraza, and 2 top 20s for Julio Rodriguez. It's going to cost more than Julio Rodriguez to get Judge and Peraza and 2 top 20s. But the Mariners are going to have to give up quite a bit more. Julio Rodriguez is not better than Judge. So that alone won't get Judge. Yeah, that's what I mean. Conforto is not really a center fielder, so it doesn't say much about the free agent market in center field this year. So it's just not deep. It's not great. Starling Marte was the guy, but he was versatile, played multiple positions. After him was a precipitous drop off in center field. So I'm guessing the Yankees are trying to see if Aaron Hicks is going to stay healthy in winter ball. So far, he has, but we'll see. Yankees want to sign another pitching coach? And maybe. I know they want to sign 3 hitting coaches. That's what we're hearing. Which would be nuts. Yankees 5 top 10. No way. 5 top 10 prospects for Julio? Nah. problem with the Judge extension is that Cashman loves signing guys. Yeah, well, that's true. I'd be all over Judge right now if I were them. Gausman, well, he's definitely. I know they've talked contract terms. Let's see here. The Blue Jays and Kevin Gausman's people. Let's see if there's anything new popping up in the up the pipeline right now. Let's have a look. Let's see. We getting the hot stove? Goodness. No, nothing yet. Nothing yet, unfortunately. Yeah, well, I don't know, Dustin. I mean, he could come to the Yankees, Correa. I don't know. I know a lot of people would not be okay with it, but then if he saw all of a sudden started to play well and help the Yankees win, I think all will be forgiven for most people. So, Mariners are finalists. Yep. John Butts, what's happening, man? Welcome. Welcome. My Godfather. You are part of the fam, John. You are part of the fam, so. And so you're a captain. I mean, you're a captain. You're definitely a captain, John. Yankees should go. Yeah, I've been saying story to the Yankees for months now. Would I be okay with Correa for 4 years, $180, 45 per year? Actually, maybe. High dollar short term deal. Stays healthy. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. 4,180. I mean, it's kind of absurd, $45 million a year, but I'd rather have him for 4 years than 10. Correa. Trade Judge, get a haul, and add to our blue chips, and they were yeah, well, that's what I mean. You can use a bunch of the people you get for Judge to go after Brian Reynolds and then Olsen and some of these guys. Then it might become a little bit easier because you will get some top capital for for Judge. But again, Correa is definitely not my pick for the Yankees. I mean, Story's my. I'll take Story over Correa. Yelich, I don't know. At this point, a little bit older. I'm not sure if he's a need here. Would I trade for Trevor Bauer? Never in a million years, Peter. Not anymore, I wouldn't. It'd be too much of a headache here. Story for 2 years, 45, 50 million. I'd sign up for that like that. Dumb. Yes, say a prayer, say a prayer, man. Throw us out some blessings. And hopefully I'll be sending some breaking news out tomorrow at some point. That would be good. The Marlins offered Marte 30 for 3. Wow. Okay. Yeah, it's definitely low. You know he's going to get more than that. Simeon's another one, Udo. It's another very appealing. To me, my number one is Story, my number 2, Simeon. In that order for shortstop. Olsen, Chapman, Murphy for Peraza, Voit, Gill, Wells, Andujar, Paris, Sanchez. I would do that in a heartbeat. I don't know if the A's would do that, John. Yeah, Marte's the Met now. Mark, he signed with the Mets last night. Yeah, I don't think Bauer's going to pitch, even though he exercised his player option. I don't think he's going to pitch with the Dodgers this year. It's too much trouble. Too much trouble with him. Simeon, yeah, I mean, I don't think you can go wrong with Simeon either. So, Gil, Garcia, Ken, Torres for Olsen and bullpen arm. Olsen in the starting arm would be better. Peter, if you're okay with that, would you do that? Rated better? Well, I mean, Peraza's. Volpe's their overall number 1 prospect, but that's not only positional. Peraza's right now their most major league ready positional prospect, and he has an elite glove. So Peraza's more major league ready at the position itself right now. But Volpe seems to have the higher ceiling. So we'll see. Story was having arm issues about the fake news. I'm not exactly sure, G-Man, about the arm issues with Story. I heard that too. I just don't know enough about it, but he seemed fine. So I wouldn't be worried about Trevor Story. Yellows for Stanton. Butters, now you're getting too silly, man. All right, now you're getting too silly. Simeon and Story will definitely be the cheapest, no doubt. Defensively, Peraza is better than Volpe, yes. Offensively, Volpe has a higher ceiling. And Volpe, yeah, he's kind of like Jeter with leadership intangibles, his character, just a great kid overall. So he's rated very high. I'm not surprised he's the number one prospect on that team, in that franchise. Not surprised at all. I think he's going to be special. Adding more pitching into potential Olsen package. Yeah. Peter, hell yeah. I mean, all these guys they're going to let go, man. If you can get Manea and or Montez and Olsen, you got to do it. If you're Cashman, you got to do it. So, yeah, correct. I mean, you got Altuve, Bregman, the other guys there are kind of the guys. So, Correa's just a hell of a complimentary player there. I mean, you got a lot of those guys. So, Steve Cohen is the Mets version. Yeah, I mean, right now he is Mark. Hell yes, he is. Correa's is not hitting his prime. Yes, he is also. So I think Stanton will play often in right field. I think he'll get a good amount of time in the outfield. You got to keep him healthy, keep him alert, keep him just focused. So yeah, I do. Keeps him sharp too. Angels are like becoming the Yankees. The Angels are slowly making moves right now. Slowly making moves. I'm really curious how aggressive they're going to be in a little bit, but the Angels, they need pitching. They need another starter, another reliever. There's no doubt about it. Drew Phillips, second best shortstop in baseball. Yeah. That's right. Baseball past 5. Yeah, the Astros lineup is crazy good. Bauer comes with it. Trey Mancini and Mullins package to the Yanks. I don't know. Peter, it's going to cost them a mortgage and a ransom. Angels get Tyler Wade, Velasquez, and Phil. Yeah, Phil Nevin. I heard that tonight. Yep. And I agree with Tyler Talbot. He should play a little bit more outfield. So when he gets that time in the outfield, he stays healthier. Bauer only chokes in the offseason. Yeah. How would I feel about trading Luis Severino? It depends if we can get back from Elliott. I would be open to it. He's definitely not untouchable. Steinbrenner was more deserving of Hall of Fame, Mattingly or Munson? Oh, man. I'd say Mattingly at this point, but I think both of them were Yankee gods. I mean, they should, at the very least be in the Yankee Hall of Fame. Unfortunately, Munson died in a crash, and Mattingly's career ended a little too prematurely because of injuries. But I think he was on a Hall of Fame trajectory, that's for sure. And Munson definitely died too early. That was really tragic. Really, really tragic. Just like Roberto Clemente dying, really, really tragic. So, sad. But they were both absolute gamers, special Yankees, and beloved. But anyway, I'm about to wrap this up, guys and gals. Do I think you're right? A-Rod should be a Hall of Famer. I'm 50-50 on A-Rod. Because, I mean, him and Ortiz and Manny, like, they all have Hall of Fame credentials. At the end of the day, he's probably the best right-handed hitter in my lifetime, A-Rod. So, and when he got off this stuff, he came back and he played well. So, I'd probably put him in at the end of the day too. I would also put Clemens in there too because he never failed a test. Actually, he never tested positive for anything. Live on Insta so we can chat with you in person sometime, Matt. I'll do that. I'll do that this week. Ortiz was the PED guy. Yeah. Got a great personality too. He's beloved. A-Rod's known to be kind of a dick too. So reputationally, they're different. But if A-Rod gets in, they have to let Ortiz and vice versa. So, but thanks so much for coming, everybody. Go enjoy your night and the rest of the weekend. And hopefully, Instagram name is Diehard Yankee Fan 447. So it's right here. There you go. There it is. There it is. But thanks so much, everybody. Have a great night. And hopefully I'll see you guys on Wednesday night. Over now.